Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 330 of Far Lands or Bust. Oh, hi, Wolfie. You're right there. God. Calm down, sheep. Calm down. You are not a creeper. You are not designed to freak me out like you just did. But he did. All right, back away. You are a suspicious sheep. Suspicious sheep. I think unless something more interesting happens, we found our episode title. But yeah, episode 330, Suspicious Sheep. Today is Friday, February 21st, 2014, and we are continuing to walk to the far lands in a very apt winter biome here, because it's cold outside, very windy. You might be able to hear the wind howling through my poor quality windows in my office here, the Far Lands or Bust headquarters. But yeah, we're continuing. Since last episode, the Child's Play charity donation system is back up and running. We are at, indeed, $170,187.66. So as predicted, we reached and surpassed the $170,000 mark. Thank you very much, everybody who donated. But we did have a particular donation that made that $20+ donation that brought us over the $170,000 mark. So I do appreciate that. And now that it's back up and running, you can continue donating at farlandsorbust.com. Right there on the homepage is the little... Whoa! Wolfie! Rejected! I did not make that jump. Oh, and then Wolfie, you noodle, hurts himself by falling down there. But yeah, at farlandsorbust.com, there's a donation tracker. You can see where we're at. Obviously, we've passed 100% of the goal, which was $100,000. But you can see the number and click the donate button and leave a question or comment or topic for me to talk about with your donation. And that would be much appreciated. And you're going to help get toys, books, and games to kids in hospitals around the world. That is the mission of Child's Play charity. Very awesome indeed. Very awesome indeed. So what are we talking about here? Flobathon still on track. That's Far Lands or Bust Marathon, still on track to take place March 1st. I am considering, I have some, well, depending on how this episode goes up with the uploads and whatnot, I am considering doing just a test live stream tonight, Friday. I do not know the time. It might just be 15 minutes for all I know, just to make sure everything works and the stuff. I'll probably be doing a few more. But yeah, that's twitch.tv/KurtJMac. I also have to take into account, I know that there are some, I don't know about issues, but I know there were some issues, so I'll call them issues. Not issues, but let's call them issues, regarding that Twitch Plays Pokemon thing that was discussed in the latest Mindcrack podcast. If you listen to the Mindcrack podcast, Beef, Good, Baj, and Pause discuss the Twitch Plays Pokemon phenomenon. And I know early on it was causing issues with lag and chat problems for other channels. But I think they've separated the resources for the Twitch Plays Pokemon. That is a thing that has gone viral and has gotten all the articles in the Kotakus and the Boing Boings and the other gaming press and whatnot. So it spread much like the articles about Far Lands or Bust, but hopefully no issues with that. But I think if you do want to stay notified, I will probably post on Twitter when and if I'm streaming. No guarantees, don't stay up or anything for this. But also, if you do have a twitch.tv account, you can follow the KurtJMac channel, twitch.tv/KurtJMac, and get notified of when I am streaming. A few test streams and whatnot, just to make sure things are up and running. Not really planning on having any fancy pants overlays or transitions or anything like that. Like I said, this Farlands or Bust Marathon is about the F3 moment, and thanking you guys for such a long time. We've met the goal, so this is long overdue. So we'll be looking forward to that in a little bit over a week. And I find it's kind of fitting. I know my original plan was to get it around episode 300, I think, was kind of a nice number to get, that was last month, but we didn't reach that. But the last episode, I've been doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The last episode before Flobathon is going to be episode 333. So hooray for numbers. Numbers. So that's kind of a fun little coincidence. Generally no specific, meaning to that or anything, but fun times indeed. Continuing on here, I guess we can discuss in attempting. Oh, I just got that. You ever get the weird hunger shakes? Maybe I should have eaten lunch before starting recording, but I got, that weird tingly feeling in your arms saying, your muscles are not receiving the proper sugars or nutrients to continue functioning at their proper levels. Perhaps you should eat some food. So hopefully I survive for another 25 minutes here in this episode, but in some tech news, we follow technology here and whatnot. I'm going to start competing with the Twit network of podcasts, the Leo Laporte enterprise, and start mentioning some technology news. But the big technology news is that Facebook has purchased or is purchasing WhatsApp for $19 billion. $19 billion. I don't know. This is the first thing I've ever heard of WhatsApp. I'm apparently old, and I'm now starting to become out of the loop with the new gadgets and the whippersnapper systems and websites and things and trends, because WhatsApp, I have never heard of it before. It's like a messaging app? I don't know. Apparently, you think about it, and the general consensus as to why Facebook, chickens. Facebook has purchased WhatsApp is for the user base. Apparently, WhatsApp has 450 million active users every month. Whereas I think Twitter has only a little bit over 200 million active users, which is pretty crazy. And I know Facebook is, a little bit worried because they are not really growing. I believe they have a little bit over 1 billion users, but they haven't been growing because a lot of the younger users have been leaving Facebook because all of their parents are starting to use it, and it's starting to be more of a platform for businesses and advertising and not quite the high school and college networking platform it used to be. So I know Facebook is definitely worried about losing users. So by purchasing WhatsApp, which is very hot with the young folks, those young, folks. I was trying to think of another word, but then I realized, the majority of my audience and the audience of YouTube Let's Plays kind of falls within that category, so maybe I shouldn't be giving them offensive or what could be referred to as, alienating myself by categorizing that audience. You guys are great. Continue watching Farlands or Bust. Subscribe. Hit that like button. But yeah, I think they're buying the users. They're not getting rid of WhatsApp or anything like that, but, that's pretty much what you assume. They're buying it for the user base. So that's interesting. And nobody's shocked that they're purchasing WhatsApp, but they're shocked for the amount, 19 billion. I mean, Facebook bought Instagram 2 years ago for only 715 million. So to go from, Instagram is pretty gigantic, is it not? I know about Instagram, but buying Instagram for less than 1 billion and now buying WhatsApp for 19 billion. For comparison, the lifetime cost. Oh my god. No. That is a improper. Watch it, Wolfie. Oh, that was a. Oh god. Sorry, Wolfie. I'm so sorry. All right, we're gonna. Oh no, he's in the water. What? That was what? All right, guy. Sorry, Wolfie. Are you okay? All right, yeah. Come up here. You're going to die, sir. Receive a flurry of arrows. Sorry, I apologize, Wolfie. Wow, that was weird. Well, I mean, I guess it wasn't weird. There was a cave opening right there. Oh god, I hear pigs. Footsteps that happen to be pigs. All right, hold on. Enough about WhatsApp and Facebook. Let's go to sleep. I think now I really have the hunger shakes. Whew. And hunger shakesness, and oh my gosh, that was a trying experience. Yeah, that I need to. Instead of having lunch or editing this video right away like I normally do, I think I'm gonna have lunch after I record here. Wolfie, where'd you go? Yeah, over here. You want to kill this guy? Replenish your food. Yeah, well done. Oh, and then fall down a chasm. Oh, there's food down there too. Oh god, why am I down here? Oh gosh, get me out. Lord. Oh, looking into the darkness. Anyway, continuing on, the WhatsApp was bought for 19 billion. To compare, I know I compared the purchase that Comcast wants to purchase Time Warner Cable for, what was it, 30 some odd billion or whatever. To compare the cost of WhatsApp to other kind of tangible objects, the Hubble Space Telescope, the entire cost to the United States for the Hubble, I should just make a boat. For the Hubble Space Telescope, I'm talking everything. The creation, the design, the building, the 5 servicing missions, space shuttle servicing missions, the ground support, the continual ground support, everything that has gone into Hubble Space Telescope it was launched in 1991, mind you, was 10 billion total. That's like the total receipt you get for everything that went into Hubble Space Telescope was 10 billion, and Facebook just bought, at the flick of a switch, another app for 19 billion. That's crazy. And again, I'm not saying that we should be, instead Facebook should be funding, space endeavors and whatnot, but you gotta kind of, it's interesting to make those comparisons, to just kind of compare. And, there's even, I think there's a Tumblr that's out there now that is things that are cheaper than WhatsApp, and it goes through, you could, the cost of providing clean water to everybody on the entire planet is 10 billion per year. So that's a per year price, so that's not really the best comparison. It's not a one-time cost, but for 10 billion per year, every human on the planet could have access to clean water, which is a big problem, and there are a bunch of charities. There's Charity Water, there's One Drop, there's a bunch of charities that work to getting filtration systems, mostly to places in Africa have problems to getting access to clean water. So I know that's, a hot topic, but very interesting that happened. And again, I have no idea what the heck WhatsApp is. When they say WhatsApp, what is WhatsApp? What's WhatsApp? So, yeah. Suppose you young whippersnappers can fill me in the comments as to what's WhatsApp. But, yeah, I feel like I'm too loud. I'm peaking my microphone here. Let me adjust things. So let's answer actually a question, speaking of the wind and background noise, from the comments from Aastrom, A-A-S-T-R-O-M, asked, "It's been a long time since we heard anything from the neighbor's garage door. What have you done?" I have done nothing. I think what has happened, for those of you who don't know, in the past, my office is on the second floor and above a garage door, my neighbor's garage door, and made a lot of noise, and you could always kind of hear it in the background. I think they fixed it. The big problem was not that I'm above a garage door and you could hear the garage door, it's that it was woefully under-maintained, and there was a lot of friction and metal grinding on, the bearings I think were shot. And, it would shake the floor underneath me, and it was pretty dramatic. That was multiplied by the fact that the neighbors, they seem to use their garage door as a front door. So it's, even if there's no cars in there, or they don't drive in and out of it, they will open and close the garage door at all hours of the day and night to come and go as they please. Which is not good. So you can still sometimes hear it. I think in the last episode of Far Lands or Bust you could hear it, especially now that I have adjusted my recording settings, and by not recording my audio separately, I don't do as much filtering and noise canceling as I used to do, so it kind of showed up in the last episode and in other episodes, and I think it also showed up in the recent season of Ultra Hardcore with the Mindcrack guys. I went out of my way to mute myself because I didn't want Michael to hear me on the other end of his thing, the way we were using the Mumble plugin. Boy, I am hungry. So yeah, that, they fixed it. They lubricated it. I don't know what they did to change the way their garage door opens and closes, but they still use it as frequently. It's just not as loud, which is good. Very good. So, professional sound studio we have going on here. I'm hearing things about generic B and, when people move places. I think Captain Sparkles recently moved, and he's talking about getting audio dampening boards put in around the wall to keep the echo and the reverb down. And it's like, I'm not quite to that point myself. I do have a microphone that is not very sensitive, so it doesn't pick up a lot of the ambient noise as much, especially as far as the echo is concerned. I'm sure if I did start recording in a soundproof chamber, that you would notice a much more bigger difference. But what I've got going on now, I think is fine and dandy, except for the previous 10 minutes or so of this episode. Might have been a little bit maxed out audio. Skype always likes to change my recording settings whenever I open and close it, even if I don't use it for a call. Skype. Indeed. But yeah, I did promise that the person who got us to $170,000, I would make note and mention and answer whatever question they would have. And indeed, Fornad donated $25 and got us past the $170,000 mark and asks, "You seem to enjoy sci-fi, but do you like fantasy, i.e. Tolkien, Martin, Eddings, etc.? Which are your favorite authors in the genre, or in general, I guess?" I am not as big on the fantasy stuff, although I do like the Lord of the Rings series, and I mentioned I have the extended versions, and I've seen the first Hobbit's movies, and I enjoy those for what they are, but I don't feel like they are overtly fantasy. I know there's wizards, and I know there's elves and dwarves and things like that, but I like the way it's not, I don't know, it's just not as in your face. They don't really explain too much about these different races and the magic and anything like that, and there really isn't that much magic or intervention of that sort of things. I did mention in the first Hobbit movie how I am a little bit, it did throw me for a loop that there is an actual dragon. I thought it was going to be more of like a metaphor or maybe a myth type of thing, but there is an actual dragon, so that kind of threw me for a loop. Dragons are definitely something I associate with kind of the fantasy sort of situation. But the Lord of the Rings, at least the movies, maybe it's a little bit more obvious in the books, but at least in the movies, it's just kind of like, okay, Erwin helps Frodo when he gets stuck with the poisonous devil sword, and does some sort of chant over him and brings him back to life. It's not made out, you know, it almost seems it's like you're in the world and it's just kind of, oh, this is the way things are, so we're accepting it and we're not dwelling on the fact and we're moving on with the story. So I like how it's treated in a little bit more of a realistic sense. The whole, I can't really get into the Dungeons and Dragons things. Even, you know, I have problems even in Minecraft with the enchanting and the potions aspect. It might be kind of my general kind of questioning and stepping back from that whole system that takes me away out of that fantasy realm that, you know, I don't quite easily get into. So yeah, the sci-fi, and even the sci-fi, I don't get too much into the hard sci-fi with, you know, like I don't get into Star Trek with all the different alien races and stuff that goes into that. Star Wars is okay, because once again, I feel like they just kind of, okay, these are the different types of people that exist in this universe, so let's just roll with it. Star Trek kind of makes a point as to every time they encounter a new species, and they make a big deal, despite the fact that they look rather humanoid for production and convenience sake. You know, they tend to make a bigger deal about the differences of each one, and that's the main plot point. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my face, and I'm not actually making any sense. But yeah, and I don't really read. I've mentioned this many times before. I don't really read, so I can't quite say I have favorite authors of any kind. So sorry, but thank you very much, Fornad, for getting us over 170,000, and for that question. And let's go to sleep and answer some questions, some more questions in the morning. And a sci-finess. Whee! Speedunk. Indeed. Oh, my hands are actually shaking. Hunger shakes, hunger shakes. Something's off with your blood sugar level. What are we looking at here? Will you do face cam for your live streams from an anonymous donor, excuse me? No, I will not. I don't see the addition. I know it's hard to find a live stream that doesn't do face cam nowadays. That wasn't always the case. But I don't see what adds to it. I did face cam for something. I don't remember what, though. And I noticed in the playback, I'm not very animated. I try to keep pretty, like I said, I have a pretty low sensitivity. I have a dynamic microphone as opposed to what's the other kind? Condenser, excuse me. So that it requires you to keep your mouth in pretty much the same spot, or else it starts to sound like this if I move too far away or don't point directly at the microphone. Wolf, yeah, I know, Wolfie. So, you know, I just like, it looks like a still image if I have a face cam. So, sorry, no face cam. So yeah, I don't see what that adds, especially to Far Lands or Busts. I want it to be about the journey and the game and the charity and the commentary more so than the face behind the commentary. I'm not too comfortable with that. So that's another reason why I did a few, but I've kind of shied away from doing any more vlog or real life type stuff. So you'll just have to deal with it. Deal with it. Let's see. From Cataratic, she asked, assuming they were active, what 3 people, we're getting specific here, what 3 people from history would you like to follow on Twitter? I think, obviously, Carl Sagan being very obviously a spearhead into the public awareness of science and spreading public science knowledge and education and whatnot, would have adopted Twitter and the internet technologies very well. I mean, in his own time, he adopted television. You know, nobody thought of putting what you could consider pretty hard science and very complex science ideas onto public television in a serial format, a series with Cosmos. So I feel like he definitely spearheaded that. So I feel like he would have also taken up the reins of spearheading using the internet as a science education and awareness tool. Obviously, we have Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye do that themselves, so, it would have been interesting to follow Carl Sagan to see how he adapted towards it and to see if he had any different or new ideas than what we currently have. Trying to think. A lot of the current astronauts have Twitters, so I don't know. It's not so much right now, but it would be interesting if the Apollo astronauts had Twitter accounts and could tweet from space. There was, back on the 40th anniversary of the Apollo 11 landing, there was somebody who created a Twitter account that automatically tweeted in real time as it would have happened the capsule communications. So it wasn't like any one astronaut's feed. It was the entire, because they just took from which is widely and publicly available, as the transcript of the communications from ground to the, Columbia and then Eagle capsule communications. And I suppose they wrote a program that would automatically tweet, synced to the timestamps, what the capsule communications were. So that's very cool. I would have liked to follow that. I obviously don't think somebody like Neil Armstrong would have had a Twitter, obviously, not being very in the public eye or anything like that. So I'm trying to think. I'm not too much of a history aficionado as far as distant history. I'm trying to think of Cleopatra or, way into the past, or even older, astronomers or, Galileo or anything like that. And it's hard to put them in the shoes of having a Twitter, because all we know about their voices, they were even before there was, newspapers generally and television and radio, so, or even, recorded anything. So the only thing we know of them is their scientific journals or published works. Maybe they... Whoa! This is definitely a spawner, but I don't see any cobblestones, so we're not going to explore it. Maybe they found some personal journals or notes of the sort that may or may not, give a look into their thought process, but it's hard to put them, think of George Washington or, Genghis Khan or people like that. It's hard to put their thoughts into the steady stream, the 24-hour access world that we now live in, with the Twitters and the Tumblrs and the Facebooks and apparently the WhatsApps. I don't, whatever that does. But, so yeah, I can't think of that third one. What, Oh, I've been walking the wrong way. When did that happen? Well, I think I've been... Yeah, that's the wrong... If I want to go walking the wrong way, I want to walk right, because the X coordinate is way off, and I only just made it bigger. So I guess we'll find out in about a week what the how far off, not only what the distance we've traveled is, but how far off we've strayed from the direct west zero marker. How long have I been doing that? See, I am hungry. Oh, I'm my brain is shutting down. It's starting to protect itself. It's all right, we need to protect the essential functions of the brain and the body and the heartbeats and the lung capacity. We're going to start shutting down non-essential brain functions and motor skills with the computer. Oh, I'm slowly dying. Water. I am actually kind of parched. Hold on. Water. It hydrates you. Get water today. Bing! Sponsor. Speaking. Segue. Segway is also a sponsor of Farlands. But no, it's not. It's not. I have to say that legally. It's not. It's just a joke. Ha! We make jokes here. But speaking of drinks and water, from another donor, Rosachu asks, what's your favorite hot drink? Cold drink? Favorite hot drink, as you can assume, is coffee. I enjoy my coffee. It's the only hot drink I drink. What other kind of hot drinks are there? I mean, there's tea. I like tea. I do have a loose leaf tea pot, kettle type of thing. I do every once and again get the loose leaf tea. Very nice. But coffee, indeed, definitely. I'm currently using a Hario, Hario, pour over method is basically what that's called. It's using a filter and you pour over the coffee. I used to use the French press a lot before I moved to this. And I did have, for a little bit, for like half a year, I had a Chemex, which is another pour over method. But those are very fragile and it broke, so I switched to the more robust Hario pour over brewer. But I like my coffee indeed, and I currently am having Intelligentsia. There's another one in the Chicago that I recently found. It's called Beau Truss, that you can order your coffee and it's fresh. Beau Truss. There's also Metropolis Coffee is another local Chicago, what's it called? Roaster, coffee roaster for beans. So I have some choice. Indeed. Cold drink? Water. I have to look back. It's probably been over 2 years since I've had a soda pop of any description. The only thing I'll drink, if not just water at a restaurant or anything, is iced tea. This might be kind of a uniquely American thing, but iced tea, it's literally, your standard hot tea, usually black tea, but cold iced tea. Usually you get sweet iced tea. It's got sugar in it, so it's a little bit sweeter. So that's kind of the only cold drink I'll drink aside from water. I am very boring. I'm very boring indeed. But yeah, I don't have anything else ever. I used to drink beer. Oh, that's something I miss a lot is beer. It's a little bit, obviously I've talked about, Wolfie, have a seat. Well, good Lord, all these random torches being placed everywhere. I talk sometimes about, in terms of alcoholic drinks, whiskey and scotch. I do enjoy now and again, and tasting the flavors, similar to coffee, you get the different flavors, or wine or something like that. But I miss quite a lot tasting the different varieties of beer. But since I have gone gluten-free for gastrointestinal reasons, no more beer. And I've tried gluten-free beer, but it's not the same. I really used to like trying beers, your different varieties and seasonal varieties of Sam Adams. And I am glad that before I went gluten-free, I found a place that had Dogfish Head. Why am I doing that? I want to place that 120-minute IPA, which is a very rare and very hard to find, especially on tap, beer. A lot of people might not like the IPAs. They're very hoppy. But it was very expensive for just a little glass, but also it was just a very rich, very thick, syrupy almost. That was probably one of the best beers I ever tasted. But like more frequently, I would get your Sam Adams varieties, I would try, a little bit more of the obscure breweries. There was a vanilla porter. I like the dark porters and things like that. Oh, I miss that so much. It was just easier than, say, tasting scotch is very nice, but obviously it's not a refreshing drink. You can't drink a lot of it, and it's very expensive, obviously, and it's, you have to be very fine-tuned to catch the different flavors, whereas opposed to beer is a little bit more straightforward. Yes, this tastes like this. This tastes like this. I can taste the banana notes in this, or the hops in this. So I do miss that very much so. But anyway, I don't miss the side effects of gluten, so I believe there's a trade-off there. So yeah. Anyway, this has been episode 330 of Far Lands or Bust. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't go too far off course there when I accidentally started going. What direction was I going? North there for a little bit. Oopsie daisy. But keep going to farlandsorbust.com to contribute to Child's Play charity. 3 more episodes until Flavathon and the eventual pressing of F3 to find out how far we've walked. Stay tuned and have a good weekend. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you, woof, next time.